Hello? Welcome to another episode of Alba and Sam. And today, we're smoking a brand new pipe. No, we're smoking a brand new pipe. Look at that acrylic stem. This is by TPE. It's a very cool looking pipe. And I bought it a couple days ago. And it smokes really well. I'm smoking some Lane 1Q today. I usually smoke the Virginia Gold, but I figured we'd change it up. I do have some Southern Blend that I bought, but it is too wet right now to smoke, so I'm letting that out to dry. And so that's wonderful. I met a new friend. I met two new friends, actually. I met a gentleman and Santa Claus at this cigar lounge, and we exchanged numbers, and they're wonderful people, and they're very brilliant and smart, and they have, they got some good education on them, and they like to talk piping. They like to talk literature, and the older gentleman, he's really cool. He plays Santa Claus, or he works as a Santa Claus during Christmas time, and he's a really amazing guy. Okay, I'll let you down so you don't smoke that stuff. Currently waiting on the rain right now to get back. This pipe smokes really good. I bought this for $50. It's my most expensive pipe as of late. This is the most expensive pipe that I have, and I really enjoy it. I've actually been listening to this audiobook called Galahad and the Grail by Malcolm Guite. I mentioned his name the very first episode, and uh, it's so funny because I go to the cigar lounge, and I mentioned, or no, the guy that's close to my age had mentioned Galahad and the Grail, and I was like, oh my god, that's by Malcolm Guite. He said, yes, it is. And the older gentleman was like, I'm listening to the audiobook right now. It's available on Spotify. So I was like, well, shoot, let me give it a shot. So now I'm listening to it, and it's very phenomenal. Alba, come on now. Don't do that. Don't do that to Kitty. Alba, stop it. My dog speaks Spanish. I could go, Alba, para allá, and she'd stop. I've got a job interview tomorrow. I'm pretty excited about that. Pretty nervous. because it's like a full on like going in this time. This will be my third interview. Um, but I think I'll do very well because I have a lot to show for, and I have a lot of confidence. You know, I have nothing. I have nothing to lie about. There's nothing to lie about. They're getting all of me, the full version of who I am. Um, and here's how I see it. It seems like they really like me, but I have this 2 week reserve obligation coming up that I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. You know, and my thought process is, are they going to accept that if they need me to start right away and then I got to be gone for 2 weeks? Are they going to accept that? I don't know. Is it an obligation to the U.S. Army? Absolutely. It's my first obligation. Well, my first obligation is God and family. But you know what I mean. Like, when it comes to duties to the country, that's my obligation, right? And every company that I work for has been super, you know, absolutely go do that. You got to go do what you got to do. Super lenient and helpful and understanding. But when it comes to starting a job, they can totally turn me down on that. They might not make that the reason, but come on, we all know. And that's okay. You know, I don't know if they're going to let me in. Like, I have no idea. Cuz there's probably other people who are more qualified with more experience than I do. But I bring something that those other guys don't bring, and I'm not just saying that. I bring passion. I bring a bunch of passion into supply chain. I bring passion with me when it comes to aviation. A huge amount of passion that I feel a lot of people may not have. And so if I get the job and they accept that I go the reserve for 2 weeks, that's God. If they say, you know what, we'd love to have you, but the reserve thing is not going to work. I mean, especially the first couple weeks you're here, you're going to be gone. We just can't have you, and I understand that, and God, that's from God. You know, God allowed that to happen. And if God's on my side, if I get the job or not. So what am I worried about? I have nothing to fear. I fear nothing but God. Alba, ya, vale, por favor, ven aquí, ven aquí, siéntate, siéntate, stop. I'm about to let her in. She keeps annoying the cat. Whatever. They're animals. Who cares? I got this blend from pipesandcigars.com or cigarsandpipes.com, whichever. Really cool people, very nice, very knowledgeable. And I like me a cigar. I don't smoke one often because I feel like it's more of a communal thing. I find it easier to engage cigar smoking with other people because I can just light it and not think about it. This is a little bit more personal. This is a little bit more strategic. Uh, and I would much rather smoke a pipe with someone who smokes a pipe as well. There's a lot more to it, you know. Anyway, but I'm not scared about you know the job interview. I'm not afraid because if I get the job or not, God is on my side. And if God wants me to have this job, he'll give it to me. He'll let me have it. But if he doesn't want me to have it, I'm not going to have it. And there might be a time where, let's say a month from now, I don't have a job. Money is going to be tighter than it is now. And God's going to be going, hey man, here's a perfect job opportunity. I want you to have it. Or he'll say, right now, that's not the time. And if it's not the time, it's not the time. And don't think that I'm not putting in effort because I am applying to jobs. Doing, I am still the feet and the hands in all this. It's not like I'm being complacent. Oh, I got one job interview and I'm banking on it. No, I have other things. There were other interviews I took last week. There are other people I'm talking to right now. But this is the one I really, really want. This is the job I really, really would love to have. You know? Because it would benefit my life and my family's life significantly. But of course, there's people more qualified than I am. There's always going to be someone better, right? On paper. But, the question is, what is someone's riding their dirt bike out here? Sorry. But the question is, what does God have for me? And I think this is where your faith comes in handy. My faith comes in handy all the time. I don't I don't lose my faith over things. I'm not going to lose my faith if I don't get this job. I'm not going to let that win. My relationship to God is a lot more important than some stupid job. I don't know. I mean, that might sound far fetched for some people. How could you say that? It's truth, man. I mean, I got a lot more going for me in heaven than I do here. That's how I feel. That's what I think. There's a lot more God up there than there is here on earth. The Bible talks a lot about hell because that's probably more important to avoid than it is to wonder what it's like in heaven. The Bible doesn't really teach too much about what heaven's like. I mean, we kind of know, pearly gates, streets of gold, but that could not that could look like gold. I mean, I have no idea. We know that there's going to be angels up there. We know that there's going to be people we haven't seen in years up there. We're going to have a new name. We're going to be I don't know if we're going to be naked. I don't know if we're going to be clothed. I have no idea what if there's cities up there, if people have land, or if you can just go anywhere, or if you can, what if you can imagine, what if you can imagine replaying life like surf like life. Like, hey, I just want to go to when I was 6 years old and relive those memories. Boom, you're there. Or I want to meet Abraham Lincoln. Boom, there he is. I have no idea. I have no idea. I bet the food tastes amazing up there. I bet the food is phenomenal. I bet they got the best fried chicken up there. I bet they got the best slam in New York slice. And I heard an atheist once say, when you're going to be in heaven, it's just going to be praising the Lord 24/7. It's going to be so boring just praising God. I'm like, sorry, that's not going to be boring at all, dude. Dude, you don't, that's not going to be boring at all. You're not going to be thinking about how boring it is. You're going to be thinking about, yo, this is worth praising. And it's going to be a lot more than what you think physically as prayer or praising. Yeah, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. It's going to be sick. So I don't, you got to think of it like how amazing it's going to be. It's something you've never experienced. Every day is going to feel like a new experience. You'll never get bored. You can snap your finger and probably go to a beach somewhere. You could just imagine yourself in a beach on an island talking to Jesus, laying back in a lounge chair. I won't be smoking a pipe up there, I'll tell you that. Because everything that's going to be up there is going to be way better than it is here. There's going to be no need to smoke a pipe. There might not even be need for food. I hope there's food. Because food's absolutely amazing here on Earth. And having food is a blessing. I like how I went from I have a job interview tomorrow to thinking about heaven. Like, what? What? Who does that, right? I do that. But I wonder, I really do wonder what that's like. Is it going to be like whatever we want it to be? Is it like life here on Earth, but everything's perfect? Do people get along? Or do people ever have arguments, disagreements? Do we all think the same thing up there? I don't know. I don't know. I'm glad I don't know because it adds to the mystery. But I tell you what, it's gonna be a lot better than being in the other direction. And people might think it's cruel that that's the option, and we could get into that theologically. I mean, I could say stuff that might piss people off, or it might even make some Christians mad. But uh, you have all your life to accept Jesus Christ. You have all of your life. Most people live more to be than probably over 70 years old. Most people. Sorry, I'm taking my shirt off. It's just really hot out here. I think pipe smokers should be well dressed. So just forgive me. But uh, You have all your life to to find out about Jesus. And yes, there are outliers, there are exceptions. Children die, babies die. Like, I'm not going to get into that because I think that there's exceptions to the rule, personally. But if you're just an average person who lives to be 80 years old or 90 and you still haven't accepted Christ, you know, it was said right there. You know, no one gets to the Father except through me. I mean, that's pretty blatantly stated that Jesus Christ is the way. And to follow him and devote yourself to him and just love him and ask him to come into your life and come into your heart and confess that you've made mistakes. I think that's reasonable. That's rather reasonable to uh, to to ask that versus burning in eternity. Alba, come here. Get out of the garden. Versus burning in eternity, dude. I don't want that. And there's also like people who say, well, what if they never heard the word of the Lord? What if they never heard Jesus Christ's message? I think, like I said, I think there's exceptions. I mean, and I don't know if it's in the Bible or not. And I could be wrong. If you know this, let me know in the comments, please, because I don't want to misspeak. I don't even know if it's a sin to say this, like to misspeak on this. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't even say anything. Maybe I should. But I think that God knows the heart. Like if I never heard of the word of the word of the Lord or Jesus Christ or nothing like that never came to me. Like I live in some random island off the coast of Madagascar, and I never heard anything about Christ. But I worshipped my own God and praised my own God. I don't know. I'm just saying. I think that might be an exception. Maybe Jesus does make himself known across the land. Maybe we do. Maybe there are people who've never heard of Jesus and Jesus is known. I don't know. Maybe that's how it works. Maybe I don't know. I don't know, but I think that everyone will get an opportunity at some point. And I think that there is a spiritual battle going on between heaven and earth. And I think there's a religious war in America right now between Christians and Muslims. And that could be another discussion we could talk about. Alba, vaya para allá. Vale. Alba, dentro. Vas a tu casa. Vas a tu casa. Vas a tu casa. She just knocked over my wife's cucumber plant. I should probably go pick that up. But first. Oh my gosh. Dude, I think there is a spiritual battle going on right now. There was one in the Crusade era. And I think we should pray instead of fight. I think we ought to pray about it instead of fight about it. I'm not going to argue against a Muslim. I just won't. Because if they think and believe that what they say is true to 100% certainty, then I'm not going to convince them. I'm not going to convince them. I don't even know if I want to debate. Even if it's a friendly debate, I don't even know if I want that. Because Christians are always persecuted. We are always held to a high, extremely impossible standard. I'm sure Muslims get persecuted in some areas, but not like Christians. You know, people freak out here in Texas. There's a mosque opening every day. Well, buddy, you're in America. Freedom from the press, freedom of religion. I mean, that's American. I have the choice to practice my religion no matter what. If I'm a Muslim, Christian, Catholic, Jew, I could practice. I don't know how y'all feel about it. I mean, I could get back. I can really get into it, but I just feel like people are just too harsh. And I'm not saying that I agree with like zealot type Islam stuff. I don't. And maybe I need a little bit more education. I mean, but from what I saw in Afghanistan and from what I know, from what I've seen, it's not my. I mean, it's not something I would personally practice. But as a Christian man, I think that no matter what, I ought to pray for them. And if your neighbor is an Islam, is Muslim, pray for them. Don't argue with them. Because prayer changes things, dude. I mean, it's not gonna happen overnight, but you know, they might watch something on YouTube or read a book where they talk about Jesus and they, I don't know. Don't be so harsh on your neighbor, man. Because I don't want people to harsh me on my flow, my Jesus flow. I don't want to be harshed. I like being challenged. You know, I have a friend who challenges my faith all the time. I like that he challenges it because it builds apologetics. And it builds my counter reason. I remember taking an apologetics course. No, correction. I took a philosophy course when I went to Dallas Baptist University. And the professor's name was Dr. Dickinson. And you can find his stuff on YouTube. The man is brilliant. He is a man of God. Well, that does it for me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm almost done my pipe. And, good pipe. Once I got it going. TPE is the brand name. I'm gonna do some research on this brand, and I'll let you know. Anyway, have a blessed day.